If you were in Minnesota last night, chances are you didn't sleep through it. The skies lit up, the rain came down hard, and thunder rolled across the state. We're talking about a powerful line of storms that swept through from late Friday night into early Saturday morning, bringing heavy rain, frequent lightning, and even reports of hail. The National Weather Service issued a severe thunderstorm watch covering much of Minnesota, including the Twin Cities metro, and at one point extended it into the early morning hours. The storms packed strong wind gusts, potential for an isolated tornado, and rainfall rates intense enough to raise concerns about localized flooding. It all started Friday evening when a cold front began pushing into the region, setting the stage for severe weather. Forecasters warned that conditions were ripe for strong thunderstorms, with the potential for wind gusts over 60 miles per hour and hail up to 2 inches in diameter. By 9:45 p.m., a severe thunderstorm watch was officially in effect for a large swath of the state. The weather setup was classic Midwest summer: hot, humid air meeting an incoming front, and meteorologists cautioned residents to have alerts turned on overnight, as the most intense activity was expected in the early morning hours. By around 1:40 a.m., the first severe thunderstorm warnings began popping up, targeting parts of cabin country, including Pequot Lakes and Cross Lake. Another warning was issued for the Elk River and Monticello areas until 2:30 a.m. These warnings meant that storms in those zones had the potential to produce damaging winds and hail. In Sherburne and Wright counties, storms delivered heavy downpours that left some roads with standing water. While no flash flood warnings were issued at that time, the rainfall rates, in some cases 2 inches in just 30 minutes, were enough to get officials urging caution for anyone driving. By 2:35 a.m., the storm system had pushed closer to the Twin Cities metro. The National Weather Service extended the severe thunderstorm watch and even expanded it eastward into parts of Wisconsin. At this point, radar showed a line of storms capable of producing hail, gusty winds, and intense lightning. In some communities, like Buffalo and Maple Lake, rainfall totals already exceeded 2 inches. These storms were moving fast, and while the most intense cells didn't directly target every neighborhood, the widespread lightning and booming thunder were impossible to ignore. Just after 3:50 a.m., the core of the storms moved into the Twin Cities area. While there were no active severe thunderstorm warnings for the metro at that exact time, the watch remained in effect, and residents were dealing with heavy rain and gusty winds. The lightning frequency was high enough to light up the early morning sky almost continuously. Rainfall rates of 2 to 4 inches per hour were possible in some localized spots, which can quickly overwhelm storm drains and lead to street flooding. Hail reports also came in from parts of Wright County, adding to the mix of hazards. By 4:07 a.m., the severe thunderstorm watch had been officially extended to 6 a.m. That update came with a reminder from meteorologists. The risk was not over, and storms could still deliver damaging winds, hail, and heavy downpours before sunrise. This extension also covered a larger area, reaching farther east into Wisconsin. The advice was clear: stay weather aware and have a reliable way to receive alerts, especially while sleeping. Officials encouraged residents to keep phones charged, GPS location on, and notifications enabled so that any upgraded warning would come through immediately. Around 4:20 a.m., power outages began to be reported. Xcel Energy said about 2,000 customers in and around the Twin Cities metro were without electricity as storms moved through. Crews were dispatched to restore power, but with lightning still in the area, safety protocols meant that some repairs would have to wait until conditions improved. For those awake at that hour, the combination of darkness, wind, and lightning, and loss of power made the storm feel even more intense. The outages served as another reminder of why it's important to have flashlights and backup batteries on hand during severe weather. By 4:35 a.m., the storms were continuing to produce heavy rain, frequent lightning, and rolling thunder across the Twin Cities. Some downtown Minneapolis neighborhoods even reported small hail. While the most intense weather was gradually shifting eastward, forecasters stressed that conditions could still deteriorate quickly in pockets. The watch was still active until 6 a.m., and even in the absence of warnings, residents were urged to use caution, especially if traveling. Overnight storms are often more dangerous simply because people are less likely to be aware of changing conditions while they sleep. Looking ahead, the forecast called for warm and muggy conditions Saturday, once the storms cleared, with highs in the mid-80s and skies turning partly sunny. Sunday was expected to bring less humidity, but similar temperatures, creating a comfortable end to the weekend. However, meteorologists noted that additional chances for thunderstorms could return in the week ahead, keeping the atmosphere active. For now, the focus remained on cleanup from the overnight weather and monitoring any lingering flood-prone areas. For Minnesotans, last night's storm system was a textbook example of why severe weather watches and warnings are so important to heed. From hail to high winds to the ever-present risk of flooding, these events can develop and escalate quickly. The best protection is preparation, staying informed through trusted weather apps, keeping emergency kits stocked, and having multiple ways to receive alerts. While the storms have moved on, the message from meteorologists remains the same: stay sky aware. Especially during the peak of severe weather season. One key factor that made this storm system so impactful was its timing. Overnight storms are particularly dangerous because most people are asleep and less likely to receive warnings in time to take shelter. Meteorologists often stress the need for NOAA weather radios or mobile alerts that can wake you up if a severe warning is issued. In this case, the storms were moving quickly across the state during the early morning hours, leaving little time for residents in their path to react. This highlights the importance of planning ahead, especially during the peak summer storm season. Another element worth noting is how widespread the storm's effects were. From cabin country in northern Minnesota to suburban neighborhoods around the Twin Cities, the system brought a variety of hazards depending on location. Some areas experienced hail and intense wind gusts, while others dealt with blinding rain and frequent lightning. In the hardest-hit spots, emergency crews were busy through the night, responding to downed branches, flooded intersections, and damaged power lines. It was a reminder that even if your area avoids the most severe conditions, the same storm can be life-threatening for someone just a few miles away. As the state moves into the rest of the weekend, weather experts are reminding residents that Minnesota's severe weather season is far from over. While the next few days are expected to bring calmer skies, additional storm systems can develop with little warning this time of year. For those who experienced last night's storms firsthand, the takeaway is clear. Preparation and awareness can make all the difference. Whether you're at home, at the lake, or on the road, having a plan for severe weather is essential to staying safe.